Hi, I'm Joni Patry, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about Mercury Retrograde, how it is going to cause havoc and fighting and contention and possible more war disagreements than ever. Why? Because it's going to be transiting with Mars practically the whole time that it's retrograde. So Mercury will turn retrograde on November 9th, and it will continue to be retrograde till around November 29th. So practically the whole month of November, we've got this Mercury retrograde, which you guys know what I say about retrogrades. They bring out something that's unfinished, that the planet is all about. And Mercury has so many implications. That's why it's such a crazy time when Mercury goes retrograde. It deals with as much as our thinking mind. So we become more absent-minded. We become more just dysfunctional when it comes to anything to do with thinking, communications, writing contracts. Be careful. As well as traveling. So people misunderstand you. There's trouble with travels, going haywire, computer systems go down, causing all sorts of havoc all over the world when Mercury goes retrograde. And this one's especially volatile because when it goes retrograde, it's lined up with Mars in Scorpio. This makes it definitely more volatile. So Mercury will actually conjunct Mars. It's going to happen 3 times, but let me give you the lowdown. So the first time that Mercury conjuncts Mars, but it's not retrograde, will be October 20th. The second time that Mercury conjuncts Mars will be November 12th, because now it's going back to hit Mars in its retrograde process. And then by the time it turns direct, it will still cross over Mars one last time, a third time, January 18th, but that time it'll be in Capricorn. So my estimation is that when Mercury is retrograde, and it conjuncts Mars by November 12th. Look out, people are angry. Don't plan any business meetings on that day. People will be hostile. They just can't get over their feelings of anger and hostility and rage. And Mercury makes us crazy anyway, so it's not going to be productive. That's what I say. But Mercury will bring up a lot of things from the past that have not been processed or finalized. It's unfinished business. And there's so many things concerning what people are angry about politically around the world. People are just at their wits' end in terms of their angers. Whatever they've been angry about, it's like now's the time it surfaces. And there's a good reason, because it's time to iron it out and heal it. But it's still got to come up because it has not been resolved. That's what Mercury retrograde's about. So bringing back anything, even any of our arguments with family, with friends, with people, it comes back. Because it was kind of like probably pushed under the carpet so you wouldn't have to deal with it. Now you got to deal with it. And you know, it's actually healthy to talk things out. You don't have to yell and scream, but to talk things out and make a resolution, if anything, to agree to disagree, but just move on. That's what this Mercury retrograde is bringing to us. Now, I wanted to talk a little bit about the nakshatras it's in. Because even though it's in Scorpio most of the time, it's going to be in some very interesting nakshatras. And for the most part, while Mercury is retrograde, November 9th, it will be in Anuradha. And Anuradha deals with friendship, actually. Deals with coming together. Believe it or not, this is what makes the sign of Scorpio so interesting, because of the certain nakshatras within the sign of Scorpio. First, there's Vishaka, then there's Anuradha, and then there's Jyeshta. But the Anuradha means coming together, finding peace, and working things out with friends. Yes, there will be anger, but the anger has been there, has to come to a head and heal. And then by November 22nd, because of Mercury's retrograde going backwards, it's going to go actually into Libra November 22nd, but the 20th, a few days prior, it will go into the nakshatra Vishaka, which is a bound and determined nakshatra. So things get a little bit more heated up while Mercury is in this nakshatra relative to being in Anuradha. So these are heavy times. This Mercury retrograde will stand out because of this placement that Mercury is while it is going back and forth, and it will be a trigger as well in the effect that it's going, when it does go to 0 degrees of Scorpio, it's going to trigger the Jupiter and the Mars. And that will basically be around the 21st, because the 22nd, it does go into Libra, but the day before, it will be at 0 degrees of Scorpio. And that big trigger changes a lot. A lot of healing, a lot of coming together, a lot of, if you've had friends that you've been on the outs with, this is a time that, yes, you will not be in agreement with things. This is definite. But at least you can come together with the people that you thought you never wanted to be with because you had a bad argument with. That's ridiculous. You've got to make peace with people. When you leave things undone, you always have to come back and fix it. Maybe in another lifetime, but it's time that you have to fix it. This month will be the time that we will fix a lot of what we're angry about. And for the most part, I always find that the people that I have differences of opinions with, it's usually because we're so much alike. I used to tell people where we get into the arguments about religion and astrology. I'm a very spiritual person, and yes, spirituality is finding the divine of God within us. Religion is supposedly to be with that. And I know a lot of you go, okay, religion and spirituality are two different things. I get it, but they're supposed to be based on the same thing. And the reason why I do get this is because spirituality is going within and finding that direct connection to, if you want to call it God, the spirit within, being one with that, and you are one with that. Whereas religion, to me, is supposed to be about that, but it gets too caught up in man-made laws and teachings of all sorts of religions, where I want to go direct within and find that divinity. And that's what I feel spirituality is. And here's the thing, when you get caught up where you think you're so different than other people in your opinions, it's usually because you're both passionate about something you believe in. That's where you come together. Both have a passion in your beliefs. How wonderful is that? You're the same type of person. Come together and understand the likes. What makes you so much alike each other. And that's why you're so confrontational with people, because you are too much alike. And I think this Mercury, with all of the confusion and all of the fighting and hostility and changes that it will bring about, can also help us realize where we are more alike than what we thought. So that's the beauty of this, and this is the healing of it. It may not happen just this month, but it is starting to happen. Something big is happening in this Mercury retrograde that deals with a healing from the past, with all of the discord that we've had, whether it be politically, whether it be religiously, whether it be in our values, our beliefs, because basically everyone here watching this video cares about the world and cares about values and being a good person, helping one another, healing our lives. Otherwise, you wouldn't be interested in astrology, because that's what it's for. Yes, it is. That's what I use astrology for. Whether people from any religious domains put some kind of value on what astrology is, it's about self-betterment, period. To improve our lives and make ourselves better, to understand who we are. And I think with this Mercury retrograde, we're really going to get to the core and the essence of who we are and how we relate to others. And remember what I always say. I believe this wholeheartedly. Our life is composed and made up with our relationships. That's how we feel about ourselves and our world and our life, through our friends, our family, the people that we've shared our life with. This, and the reason why I keep talking about this is the time of where we can work out our differences. Yes, it's going to be hostile, but we have to do it. We have to understand where we're coming from, because here is the worst thing. When people have deep-seated angers and they push them down and pretend they're not there, guess what happens? It explodes later and or causes illness. That's why I say address what you're angry about. You don't have to yell and scream. Yes, Mars does represent anger, and it does get the best of us sometimes, but no, just see what you're disagreeing about and try to understand it as to how you're alike without getting angry. It's going to be hard to do because the planets do kind of rule our awareness. Mars in Scorpio is very passionate, with Mercury angry and combative and argumentative. But stand back, review, reassess, reanalyze this, because it is a time that you can heal your differences with others. Even though it may come to a boil, let that boil simmer and come down and eradicate that anger that has been ignored and swept under the carpet or pushed down. You don't want to make yourself sick, do you? Recognize it, deal with it, process it, heal it. That's what this Mercury retrograde to me is basically all about. So do your due diligence, of course, when Mercury goes retrograde. And what I mean by that is be careful when you travel. Just recognize there's going to be delays and setbacks and problems. Realize that you're more absent-minded and controlled by your anger. Don't let that happen. Be control over your emotions. Don't let your emotions control you. And most of all, use this time to reassess, reflect, and heal anything around people that you're angry with or your communications. If you can't heal it with others, then just recognize it and accept it. Acceptance is, in my estimation, the word for forgiveness. We have to accept the way things are and move forward, because many times, well, all the time, we can never change the past. And when we accept and move on, it opens the door to a new future, one without blocks, or setbacks or road or any kind of obstacles. It opens your life to new opportunities. So with that, I think I'll close. If you would like to learn more about me, if you would like to sign up for my newsletter, go to galacticcenter.org. And please don't forget my Galactic Planner. This will help you sort out exactly what it is. Remember how I said astrology is for self-betterment? The Galactic Planner is definitely for that. It will give you the guidance you need through your own personal chart. Go to galacticplanner.com. And don't forget, if you want to join me weekly live, be part of my Patreon. We have an amazing spiritual community you'll want to be part of. And if you want to learn Vedic astrology, I have a university. Teach every week. Come join us. Learn astrology from me. Become my student. Go to universityofvedicastrology.com. Thank you.